Well, we are still transatlantic on the Norwegian getaway. You'll notice that we are just south of Newfoundland. We're kind of a ways south of Newfoundland. Actually, I think we're a little farther along than that. The captain told us this morning we were due south of the Titanic, by about 180 nautical miles. But we still have a ways to go. Let's see if it says the distance yet. I think it was probably in the range of 950 nautical miles the last time I looked. The weather outside is kind of rough, and if you were watching the FEIYUTECH, the video on the Osmo Action 4 that I did on with the FEIYUTECH, and now we're going to talk about the FEIYUTECH, you heard a lot of wind noise and such when I did this. And I am now using the Osmo Action 4 from DJI, along with the DJI microphones, which are clipped to my collar. Hi! Back out to the wind rustling and whistling, and I don't think you're going to hear quite as much of that and the typical noise that you hear with wind noise from a small internal microphone. So what we came here to talk about was not the weather or the Norwegian getaway, but the little FEIYUTECH Pocket 3. This is a very new camera from a manufacturer not a lot of people have heard of, though if you look up FEIYUTECH, they've been around a little while. They make a lot more gimbals, 3-axis gimbals, such as that, than they do cameras and drones, such as DJI do. So we're just doing a little charging of the FEIYUTECH. It has internal batteries, two, one in the remote handle, which is the part that I'm holding, and one in the camera portion, which has the 3-axis gimbal. Now you ask yourself, based on your knowledge of the DJI products and maybe the FEIYUTECH products that you may be familiar with, got the little handheld caught in there, why would you need two batteries? For exactly the reason why I wanted to buy this camera. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that came to pass as well. This is actually my second FEIYUTECH Pocket 3. I saw a YouTube video by a vlogger about this camera when it was still in pre-production, and he had been sent a pre-production version. And it looks like a normal pocket camera, doesn't it? It has a little 3-axis gimbal, it has a camera, it has a remote handle, it has a little screen, some limited buttons and functions, and it's very small and fits in your pocket. So yes, it does. It does all those things. What sets it apart from every prior unit, pocket camera, DJI, FEIYUTECH, etc., is that the camera portion comes off, just like that. And when I saw that, I thought, game changer. Because not only does it disconnect, well, what do you do with it? Great, it's separate. It's still talking wirelessly between the handle and the camera. But if we had, I don't know, the roof of a car to stick this to, I could, because the base of this is a magnet. And within this room, I don't think I've got some stainless steel here. I don't have any actual steel. We were talking about the DJI and how I made a little magnet base to hold the camera. This goes a step further. So I did do on a prior trip, I managed to get my hands on one prior to mine being ready, which was a little campaign of deception by our friends in Hong Kong who were marketing this through Kickstarter and then Indiegogo. There it is back together again. They were selling them themselves on Amazon while we were still promised ours as Kickstarter supporters, so that was kind of a not cool situation. So I was forced to buy one, and then it had enough problems where I could actually send it back for a refund, but not before I got a fair amount of use out of it. And we'll talk about some of those issues that I had. So my first run with the Pocket 3 was fairly successful. I shot a lot of video with it. I shot some video attached to the roof of a car. I lost a fair amount of audio because it has a strange habit of turning the recording audio off. At one time when I had it attached to the roof of a car, I thought that the microphone, because it has two, it has one on the camera right there, and it also has one on the handle right there, that when the two were detached, naturally you would think that it would be able to record, or there would be an option to record audio from the handle. Not so. it defaults to recording audio from the camera when it is disconnected, which is kind of backwards. I asked them if they'd like to update the firmware to do something about that. They said no. The audio from this is what you would expect of a cell phone microphone. Not very impressive. It does the job. You heard the video reviewing the camera that I'm holding right now. It was in that, and I took, in a lot of cases, to recording or using music over the recorded audio and having to do a fair amount of work to the recorded audio. In any event, one of the nice features about this is the little removable tripod, and I have one. They sent me an extra one when I got my second FEIYUTECH Pocket 3, and this comes right off like that. Boom, the remote handle comes off. Let me just unscrew it while I'm holding this other camera. See how good rock steady is on a DJI? So there it is detached. You can also we've got an extension rod that connects here. Got a little rubberized handle. It has a kind of annoying lock and unlock here that is not real intuitive. Let's see if I can do it, and you can still see me do it because it requires a fair amount of force. There it goes. And it pops out, and it works kind of like the handle on my luggage. You have to kind of pop past the detents and kind of twist and turn it around a little bit. So I wonder about, there it goes, I wonder about, and then it has to lock in place or it'll slide up and down. See, turn, twist, and it's got these little plastic dots, detents, whatever you want to call them. So I kind of wonder how long that's going to last. And then you can, of course, put the tripod into the bottom of that. That's the standard mount. Now, here we have another interesting extension rod that they gave me, or I bought, I suppose. And that holds the separated camera, and that slides into the slot of the remote handle. So I'm not sure I can do that one-handed, but I can sort of demonstrate. This goes into that slot there, and the little spring thing keeps it tensioned. I think it needs to be turned that way. There we go. And then this slides into the little lock on here, and of course we've got a magnet as well. So there it is, just kind of magnetized to it. So you can extend this away from that, and then of course they are still connected wirelessly as if they were disconnected, i.e. this was mounted to a car. So neat features, both of those. I have not found a use for that extension rod yet. Of course that one is pretty self-explanatory. So let me reconnect the camera to the base. Give me a hot second here. We're going to try to do it and get it on camera. Do it with one hand, like a man with one hand. Here's to all you men and women who only have one arm. I feel for you, because this is a heck of a trick, and I see a lot of you every day doing amazing things. Not every day, but enough. So there we are, reconnected. And we'll put the tripod base on and screw it back in. This is my preferred configuration for using the Pocket 3. It still fits in your pocket very well. There it is. And it allows you to put it down on a table surface like that. So you can turn the Pocket 3 on, obviously, with either of its power buttons. One is there, and one is on the side of the remote handle. You have three buttons up on the top. You have power, mode, and in effect shutter. And so we're going to use the remote handle version. You press and hold, and it kind of comes to life, and the little gimbal comes to life, and there we are. So we've got two battery indicators right there. We've got the one for the handle and the one for the camera. It says it's charging the camera. You have a tiny little display screen up there. And then this is a touch screen with many, many options, but you also have the little joystick down here as well for panning and tilting the gimbal, which you can see that working here as I do that, kind of. There it goes. And then you can recenter by pushing down on the mode button. Well, that will change the mode to pan, follow. If I double tap it, it goes to recenter. I happen to like most the all follow mode, which is that one, and it tends to have the best horizon. Of course, you've got pan, follow, and all follow. And pan I have found very limited use of. Follow, you've got some more, if you're going to do more things with changing the angle of your shot. I do not. I like to keep a level horizon, so all follow tends to be the best one for the level horizon. On the display, you see that we are in Pro mode. I play it being a Pro. We are shooting 4K 30, which is my preferred. Obviously, we've got 4K resolution and 30 frames per second. We have custom white balance settings there, and I also have at the bottom the time left on the 64 gig SIM card, which is installed in this particular camera. Now we also have a digital zoom, and it zooms up to, and of course you lose quality of picture, but it goes to 4 times from 1. I have found that particularly when we are using the microphone on the handle, which is when they are both connected, that the noise from this little slider actually makes its way into audio, as does the click of pan, follow, all follow the mode button, because when you want to go into selfie mode, that's 3 clicks of the mode, and that's 1, 2, 3, and you're going to see the gimbal come around, flip, and there we are on the screen holding the DJI. Look at the brilliant front screen on the DJI here as well. So, and 1, 2, 3 sends it back around. That is very, very smooth, however. I have enjoyed using that. I'm very impressed by it. So on the touch screen, which is very sensitive and very small, flipping straight down goes into handheld or remote mode. You'll notice we are currently in handheld mode. So if you were to detach the camera from the top, you would go into the other mode. We're not going to do that just right now. You have the main setup menu here. You have wide viewing angle, narrow viewing angle. We're going to go back and rechange that. Face tracking is on, off, like that. See how touchy this is? We're going to go off of narrow, super wide back to wide there, and keep swiping. See, it's a little bit difficult when you do this. Face tracking is off. We are on super high quality, full screen display on the screen. Professional mode is on. Don't know why anybody would turn off professional mode. And then high brightness on the screen. So that's that menu. We covered just about everything in there. We can go into the main setup menu, and here we have a few different options. We show 100% battery. That's just the camera, not the handle. Then we have our Wi-Fi configuration for connecting it to a smartphone via their app. We have the anti-flicker set on 60 Hertz at the moment, and the keytones are on. I'm actually going to turn that off because they're very obnoxious. Storage available there. Auto power off is turned off. There is a calibration setting there for setting the horizon calibration. Metering is average, and we have more here. Language reset and the device information. You want to do a little firmware update, something along those lines. Now, this is something I referred to earlier. Here are the menus for pan, follow, all follow here. That's with screen flip up from the bottom. And you have motion. I like fast rather than smooth, i.e. running. It tends to be more adaptive. It tends to work a little bit better. Flip. So you have the ability to do that as well. So we're going to flip him back. Some of these are just a little fiddly, as you see. So we're going to stay on motion mode there, not running mode, but motion mode. There is the preview of things on your SD card from the left. And I'm going to find the menu that has screwed me up a number of times. There's my resolution setting, swiping from the right. I know what it is. If you click on the top left of the screen, now you've got Phylog color, white balance, exposure, and volume. Now, evidently, I was either doing this accidentally or the former FEIYUTECH, which is no longer with me, was inadvertently muting the recording volume. So by tapping here, you can change white balance, exposure, but also volume. And if you click that one time, it goes to no audio being recorded. click it one more time, low audio being recorded, medium audio or high volume. There's high volume again. So we want to leave that one kind of alone. And there's no screen indicator saying you are recording sound. So what I need to remind myself to do when I use the FEIYUTECH Pocket 3 is to always check that. So we're back on that menu there, and tapping anywhere else on the screen doesn't bring us anywhere else. On the side of the camera, you have a SD card slot for micro SD. I have an amusing story about that. I was sitting on the balcony of a ship in the harbor at the port of Istanbul, the Galata port, and I had my laptop and I had this sitting on the table. I had just shot about 3 hours worth of video that I would find out the next time I went out to shoot that it also didn't have a whole lot of audio to it. You have to use like a ballpoint pen to get the SD card out of there unless you have naturally long fingernails or something else. And I popped the SD card out and it flew off the balcony and into the water about 8 or 9 decks below. So that was inconvenient. I lost a 256 gigabyte SIM card and a fair amount of work and the evidence that I wasn't using this thing right. So that caused me some trouble down the road. But eventually I figured it out and got reasonably trouble-free use out of the FEIYUTECH. So for demonstrations of the operation of the FEIYUTECH Pocket 3, watch a lot of my other videos. You'll see a lot of use of the FEIYUTECH Pocket 3, as well as the review of the camera that I'm using right now, which is the DJI OSMO Action 4 I shot with the very camera that you're looking at here. Now you ask yourself, how do we protect that rather delicate looking gimbal mechanism? Well, FEIYUTECH have given us, and we're just going to power her down. Holding the power down, it goes beep, beep, beep. And we'll put it back on the tripod for demonstration here. How do we protect that? You're going to put that in your pocket, it's going to get ripped right off of there. Well, FEIYUTECH came up with Darth Vader here. And Darth Vader is a little plastic cover that rather neatly snaps on. It's quite well designed. And it goes down. You have to make sure that the camera is where it wants to be, sort of, kind of. And there it goes, click down. So now it's on there. And their method for telling you how to remove it is squeeze there and there. So that seems to work pretty well. So we have had very little trouble with that. Now, FEIYUTECH make a few other accessories for this camera that I do not show here. I think they have a different rod. They also have a wet box for wrist strapping and whatnot. There was a shoe that attaches to wrist straps. You can strap it to your wrist or a handlebar of a bike or a motorcycle or a seat or something along those lines and go down with it. And you can also obviously go swimming, but it has to be in the wet box. Unlike with the Osmo, it is not waterproof. It has a lot of open holes on it, so it really has to be in some kind of waterproof enclosure. So there may be also other products to suit that need, but in any event, that's my short review of FEIYUTECH Pocket 3. Its principal reason for being in my go bag is to be able to detach and use on a car and be able to control from within the car and do some pretty amazing coverage from inside a car. So if you look at, again, you look at some of my videos taken in Greece, they show this in use, and most of the results that I was able to get out of it are actually very, very stunning. Well, thanks for watching this episode on the FEIYUTECH Pocket 3 of Travel with Chip, and also a demonstration of the very capable DJI OSMO Action 4, both very different cameras, both of which are great additions to anyone's vlog or go bag, no matter what level of professional videographer you are. I've been shooting video for a very long time, and I love how portable both of these are and how versatile and flexible they are to use for these applications. But if you enjoy this, please see a lot of our travel videos. Please subscribe, like this video and other videos, and share them with all your friends. Appreciate your support of the Travel with Chip channel, and we'll see you very shortly as we arrive in New York and then we'll be going down into the Eastern Caribbean. Again, thanks so much.